an FTC story. In the beginning, there was a teapot. And then that teapot went bang. Hi, my dear little teacups. I've been really busy being dead. You know, after I keep disappearing and people keep claiming I'm dead, thought I might as well embrace it. But that's completely beside the point. Let's talk about Coppa, shall we? Coppa. And let's also talk about the FTC. Now, you've probably seen a decent amount of creators talking about it. None of the big ones, for obvious reasons. It probably won't affect them in seemingly any way, because magically things just don't affect big creators on this website. Yes, I'm aware that Markiplier had that one big snafu, but copyright scamming, ad demonetization, etc. just never really seems to affect them, funnily enough. So I'll make this quick. Sausage Party, BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, Archer, Pantheon Stocking with Garter Belt, most anime outside of the shonen genre, Big Mouth, which everyone seems to love so fucking much despite everyone's dead unanimated stares, Cool World, which is effectively adult Roger Rabbit, and many more. That's before we even get into wonderful web homegrown products such as Happy Tree Friends and Has Been Hotel. Oh, Has Been Hotel. Next up, I'm going to be throwing a bunch of gaming names out there, but first, I should probably explain why I'm saying all this. So, the FTC have decided that they're going to mandate that YouTube mandates its creators to mark whether their channels, or in some cases, you can choose to mark every single video, as to whether they are for kids. As in whether they are made for and directed at children. Isn't that marvelous? We can protect children from nasty, personalized ads and comment sections and revenue and, the recommended tab as well? And the community tab? Okay, well, that's quite a lot you're defending us from there, FTC, but let's find out anyway. The biggest problem is that, how to put this, you motherfuckers don't seem to understand what the difference is between a medium and content. A medium is something that delivers something. Think of it as the wrapper for the sweetie. And the content is the sweetie inside. Now, the wrapper can look like fucking anything. The content is where it actually matters. It doesn't matter if it's in an Amazon cheap cardboard box. If it's still Lindt chocolate, inside, it is still Lindt chocolate. Now, here's where things start getting a little interesting. Because quite a lot of animation isn't for kids. The FTC seems to automatically believe that cartoon characters equals made for kids. Hence the earlier list of just a handful of animated products that aren't for kids. But don't worry, they also include gaming amongst this as well. And that's where I get angry. And when I get angry, I make lists. So, since they don't seem to understand that gaming can be more than just Roblox memes and Minecraft, let's give a couple of famous examples, shall we? Or some less known indie titles maybe in there as well, but I want to make sure that they're covering very specific topics. So let's go through a couple. The Cat Lady, depression and suicide. Literally a character kills themselves in the opening cutscene by taking a bottle of painkillers or possibly sleeping pills. I'm not sure which it is. But the point being, they definitely die because they don't want to live on this planet anymore. And with stupid idiots like you trying to make whole rules that cripple livelihoods, I'm not really surprised why, FTC. Let's go through some more. Doom! An old school classic up in here. Yes, this one has pixely gore going back way into the decades. But nowadays, most of us would know it for things like Doom, VFR, which everybody would probably understand stands for virtual fucking reality. Let's talk about Shadows of the Damned, where the main character's name is literally Garcia fucking Hotspur. Yes, it's censored, I don't care. Or how about GTA 5? Only one of the most successful, if possibly not the most successful, I haven't checked recently, entertainment products on the planet. That's definitely for kids, 'cause it's a video game, yo. I love to play my GTAs and my Yu-Gi-Ohs on my Nintendos. Oh, but wait, I'm not actually done. Let's talk about other things that just have even a couple of scenes that are really not suitable for children. Children, by the way, as defined as children under 13. So, let's talk about that potential rape scene in Beyond Two Souls, eh? Yeah? The bit where if you fuck up a QuickTime event and end up in the wrong area of the level, you are held down on a pool table and a bunch of rough biker types attempt to molest you? Yeah. Let's talk about Outlast, where you're chained down to a table and watch a buzzsaw approaching to your own naked penis. Let's talk about even fantasy titles like Fable, where I can just chop a man's head off. Just like that. Let's talk about good old Silent Hill, a real classic right there, where you can see a Pyramid Head almost doing some suggestive poses with a mannequin, stabbing multiple people. The main character is going to Silent Hill because he is depressed, because he murdered his wife. Spoiler alert for Silent Hill 2, by the way, but if you haven't learned the plot by now, then what the hell are you doing with your life? The main character, as I said, kills, in fact murders his bedridden, ill wife, mostly because he can't have her for sex at the moment, because she's too ill. His libido was so out of control, it creates freaky bobble-headed nurses. Yeah, that's where those come from. But don't worry, I've still got more. We've got dating games where the purpose of it is literally just sex. Yes, it's Honey Pop, ladies and gentlemen. The game in which you bang your way through, 9, 12 women, including having a shag with the goddess of love. I mean, she was okay, I've had better. Do I even need to mention the horde of nudity-based anime games on Steam? Really? And what about good old Mortal Kombat, the game that literally invented the ESRB? That's totally fine, right? It's games. Kids love games. Games. Look at the Roblox. Look at the games. Games, kids, games. Right? Yeah, totally. Okay. Oh, wait, speaking of kids and games, kids, games, of course, how could I forget? Heavy Rain, you know, the one with the child kidnapping. Oh, and the sawing off your own finger. Yeah, it's for kids. Totally. I mean, hell, some of the games I've listed there are even 18 rated. The first 18 rated game I ever got was BioShock, because in the trailer, someone gets a drill through their fucking hand. That's a video game. That's got a rating on it. That's not for kids. The people who made the game knew it was not for kids. The people who bought the game knew it was not for kids. But if I made a video about the game, because it's got gaming in it and cartoon characters, would you tell me that it is made for kids? And this is where we get to the big one. Mislabeling your video or your channel is considered a big problem. I'm told that this is only inside the USA, but I don't really quite believe that, given that YouTube is a USA platform and thus beholden to USA rules. Hello, all the copyright snafus. I'm not entirely certain that people will just stop if the creator is outside the USA. Also, that's just going to create a bit of a weird exodus of non-child content creators out of the US to anywhere else, if that's the case. And I can't help feeling that these extraordinarily angry, protective parents that have supposedly caused this to come into being will not stop exactly just because you happen to live somewhere else. If they can't get to you and fine you for the $42,000 that the FTC says is the maximum bill for a mislabeled video, then you can pretty much bet that they will leverage mandating YouTube, which is still a USA platform, thus bound by USA law, telling them that it's not okay to host this content that clearly is trying to sneak by aimed at kids when it's really not. And this becoming the problem. I can understand overruling a creator's decision on whether their content is made for kids or not, as long as that person has said, my content is made for kids, and it really isn't. I could just click onto, some of the videos where I've attacked various different members of the public in games, or the videos where, such as Cat Lady, wherein she literally kills herself, or Danganronpa, where children are squished, turned into butter, and God knows fuck what else. I could claim that's made for kids when really it isn't. And I'm also saying, and this isn't even delving into the creator's side of things, I could still be playing an entirely child-friendly game, and I could be just saying fuck the entire way through. In fact, I'll just say it again, just in case this video is considered child-friendly. Fuck. Moving on. Concept being that I am fully in favor of overruling if a creator has said, my video is made for kids, when it really isn't. By all means, protect the kids. Protect them from personalized ads, protect them from comment section predators, all that jazz, that's fine. All that sort of nasty stuff we shouldn't really expose them to. As long as I said it was made for children, and it turns out not to have been. What I disagree with is doing it the other way around. I have said that my entire channel is not made for kids. I've said that every video I've ever made is not made for kids because I can't guarantee whether or not I'm swearing my arse off. I can't guarantee whether or not I'm randomly talking about depression. Changing it to some of your other favorite creators, the Game Grumps might not be able to guarantee whether or not they had a chat about weed stories and hilarious sex stories in one of their videos. So it's better to just say it's blanketly not made for kids. And if I, the creator, have said it's not made for kids, who the fuck are you to argue? Excuse me. What exactly is going to suffer if a video of mine actually turns out to have been child-friendly? It could be said it's made for kids and targeted at kids, and I've said it isn't. Where's the problem? They're not going to find it? I'm going to lose out on this child audience I'm so totally pursuing with all these animated characters, these animated video game characters, animated video game suicides and gore? Yeah, I'll really miss out on that, and I'm sure they'll really, really miss out on watching it. It's not like there's billions of hours of content uploaded to the site regularly. No, and some of that has to be for kids, even the stuff that isn't the weird Spider-Man and Elsa shit that's somehow still on the site. How? But you get my point. If I, the creator, have said it's not for kids, don't you tell me it's made for kids, and then bollock at me if it turns out not to be made for kids. And worse still, don't fine me for your wrong decision, subjective about my content, being made for kids when I've said it isn't. If I've made a fuck up, this is a one-directional fuck up, which is saying that I made content for kids when I didn't. Medium is just a medium. Weirdly, it genuinely is a strange scenario that I'm one of the people talking about this, because I have an entire series or two dedicated to how medium is just a medium and content is what matters. For example, Discount Ranger is entirely based on the joke that stealing the medium of edited videos and the medium from Tier of Grace, but changing the content, can still be worthwhile in its own regard. Granted, most people completely miss that satire, but that's the satire that I built it upon. XCOM 2, kind of similar scenario with Seth Orvan's edited videos, but just sharing the medium, not parodying the medium. Point still being, the medium might be the same, the content is very different. If I were a father and my child had just finished watching a lovely episode of, I don't know, fucking Frozen or some shit, I absolutely would the fuck not flick on Netflix and show them BoJack Horseman. No. No. I mean, no. Do you realise how many drugs they take in that thing? Or Rick and Morty, where people are repeatedly turned into fleshy skin bag monsters. Rick's entire existence is child unfriendly. And, okay, a bit more tamer, but this is more for like the teen bracket. Archer. Constant sex. References to unconsensual, unconscious person sex. Poor Cyril. But also not poor Cyril, but that's a plot point. Anyway, you get my point. Like, okay, that might be for a 15-year-old, but I would be tentative about showing that to an under 13-year-old. So this is where it's at. And also, even movie ratings. A certain amount of fucks, and you'll go up a certain number of that's the word fuck, not actual on-screen fucks. I realize how that could sound. A certain number of fucks, and you go above a certain rating. You can only say the word cunt sometimes, which I am very loath to say. That's one of the few swear words that I reserve for specific occasions and people who've truly deserved it. But the point being, you can only get away with a couple of those in a movie before you go over or into certain ratings. So my big question is to the FTC and YouTube in general's application of what the FTC is telling us here. And my comment, if I were to be able to make such a comment to the FTC in, I don't know, some kind of link down in the description, which allows me to leave a comment on their policy and their implementation thereof until December 9th. My question, if I weren't to censor myself and wrote a 5,000 character long essay listing off a lot of the examples that I've already listed, my question would be thus: what the fuck? You cunts. Thank you for listening. This has been Fuck an FTC Rant.